Hey Craig, I got an idea.
Is it a bad idea?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Craig and I are going to be turning a reverse trike into the best off-road vehicle ever. And we only have maybe 2.5 days to do it. But the story actually starts 12 years ago, when I traded an old Mercedes for a jet ski for a boat, and the boat for a VW sandrail. And the sandrail was awesome. And what I learned was that you'd be amazed of the off-road capabilities of just a two-wheel drive vehicle. But then one of you sent over this message. And I took it as more of a challenge. And this made me think, what are the off-road capabilities of a one-wheel drive vehicle? But not just any one-wheel drive vehicle. The most hated one-wheel drive vehicle of all time, the three-wheeler. And not the awesome three-wheeler that's always rolling over and crushing children. Nope, I'm talking about the dreaded, awful Can-Am Ryker. But instead of buying a brand new one or a nice one, we got ourselves a wrecked one at the auction. But it can't just be like aesthetically pleasing and then we say it's an off-road vehicle. It's got to actually be able to perform and do some tasks off-road. So it has to be able to go through at least 2 feet of water. It has to be able to go through some pretty substantial mud holes. It's got to be able to go up and down some pretty intense hills. And obviously, the most important one, it's got to gain the respect of children, because they know what's up. Even though it's not really my thing, this little Can-Am was once a beautiful, shiny new vehicle with its whole life ahead of it. And someone loved it, and they spent their hard-earned retirement money to buy it. And sadly, it got in an accident. But you know this thing has more potential, and you know we're not gonna let it end that way. So, we're gonna need some help. Let's get Craig in here to figure out one, actually what we got, and then two, figure out what we gotta do to modify it to make it an awesome off-road vehicle. Hey Craig! Craig call's not working. Craig, we need a Craig call where it's a big spotlight with a wrench on it.
We have part of it right here.
Yeah, so basically, here's the plan. First, we're gonna take off all the fenders and anything that might be getting in the way. Then put the biggest off-road tires that we can find in short notice, and it's probably gonna look like this. Then maybe I'll mount a really cool winch on the front. That's kind of an idea I'm tossing around. But first I need to move the very low mounted radiator from down here to up here so we can give it more ground clearance. And then we might need an exhaust snorkel and a front intake snorkel. And we gotta have a skid plate. We'll put that right here. Then we'll paint it military green. No, desert sand color. And then we'll put a big horn on it and spikes on the wheels like Mad Max would do. All right, but here's some of the problems of what we got going on. We need a big off-road mud tire back here, but if you come look, we can take the fender off, that's fine, but we don't have very much space in between here, and this is actually the frame.
When I first looked at it, I thought it was plastic. Like I thought the swing arm was under this, and this was just like a plastic shield that came off.
That'd have been nice.
It's not.
So we gotta find something that fits that, and that might prove to be difficult. The other big problem I'm seeing, and it's kind of an unknown, but are we able to turn all the traction controls and driver's aids off of this? Because if we can't, as soon as one wheel comes off the ground, it's gonna shut down. As soon as that starts to spin in mud, it's gonna kick on the ABS. And that seems like that might be kind of a big issue for us. All right, so first things first, what do you wanna go work on? What am I gonna go work on?
Let me work on finding tires.
You do tires. I'm gonna work on fixing this radiator or replacing it, and maybe even remounting it up here. So then we can actually take it for a spin and make sure it actually works. So my job was to try and fix or replace the broken radiator. And we can't order a new one because it won't come in time. So I went to the auto parts store to see if they had anything in stock that I could try and make work. And they did not. But they sent me to a radiator shop who maybe can help me fix it, and she could not. But she did suggest that I try JB Weld, so I did. And if we can't get the radiator fixed or replaced, this Ryker will overheat and lock up. So getting this thing fixed is a pretty big deal. My grandpapa always said, if you're gonna do a job, you do it right. We're doing it right. Bubble gum would be the wrong way. We spent money on JB Weld. Man, that's good. Set time, 6 minutes. Cure time is 4 to 6 hours. We don't got time for that, but let's go see how Craig's doing. What are you doing, Craig?
Trying to find tires. This isn't easy. It's a weird size. And then finding off-road tires in a lower profile, smaller size is tough. But we're gonna figure it out.
So I'm gonna start taking this stuff apart, get this big old dumb fender off. So I started taking as much plastic as I could off the Ryker, partly because it needed to come off, but the main reason was because I wanted to feel like progress was being made. And a big pile of extra plastic on the floor always looks like things are getting done. But my progress got slowed down a little bit for one of the reasons why I do what I do.
What are you doing?
Dan's just being Dan.
Yeah.
You know, Dan can be like that. Let's try to turn it on. Watch out, lion. Got a big old warning light on there. All right, so I got all this stuff off. It's not tripping anything. ABS light went on. Check engine light came on. Here's the problem with these things. They're so obnoxious. You do one wrong thing, it'll freak out until you put the e-brake on. There's gotta be a way to turn off traction control. We gotta go to the forums to try to find that out.
I have tires coming. They'll be here this afternoon.
What kind of tire for the back?
I just got 3. It's like an all-terrain, what is it, the Falcon Wild Peak or something. Maybe we'll unbolt it and put a spacer in there and bolt it back together.
You think? Good idea?
Yeah. Yeah, good idea, Dad.
Good idea.
Good idea. We should put this up on the lift.
Figured out how to get these wheels off?
Not yet. Figured we'd start with the fenders. They're easy. We're 2/3 of the way there. Yeah, that's fine. Hold that in. I'm gonna see if I can knock these lug nuts loose. That's not working yet.
Ain't bad. That ain't bad. We didn't even run any pressure through it. It was leaking out pretty good. So I put more JB Weld on it and tested it again, this time with bubbles, and it still leaks. And then I used some more JB Weld and it leaked even more. If I don't come up with a solution quickly, this tiny little problem could ruin the entire project. So I moved on to something else. So we were able to find I guess the equivalent of a 65 millimeter, I guess 2.5. Just like a Ferrari. I'm not sure who it was, probably Dan. Got that one all gnarled up. So we got 3 of the smallest and most aggressive tires that we can get our hands on, and they're significantly larger than the stock ones. And according to our calculations, they should fit even on the back.
Okay.
Here's a possible way to get a little bit more out of this before we start grinding the swing arm down. If we can disconnect this, kind of pull it back a little bit and see if we still have enough splines in there in the drive shaft to connect. We can almost get like 1/2 inch, maybe even at least 1/4 of an inch, maybe even 1/2 inch out of this. So that's what we're pulling this thing out to see if we can get that. This would be a good time where we would want to have a 3D printer. I keep on telling Craig we need to get a 3D printer, and he's like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Dan and I are gonna get one. We're gonna print all sorts of stuff, aren't we, Dan? Like
friends.
I don't know what.
Pieces of friends.
Dan
Friends.
confirmed, yeah. How much we got in there?
Plenty of room. That'll work.
My plan is to mount this guy right there.
Just get enough goop on there that it stops leaking.
Yeah, that's the plan. Eventually it'll be covered all in.
That's fine. I don't think that's gonna work.
What part's tight?
This right here, this kink, line's kink shut.
Oh, kinks are bad. I know that because I have a garden hose.
Yeah, and a back. Yeah, I don't like kinks in either of them. It'd be funny to mount the winch right here.
Just right above the radiator.
Yeah.
You can attach it to the radiator.
Oh my gosh. Genius. Sean, Dan wants to mount your winch to the radiator.
Oh my gosh, Dan, you can't do that.
Why not?
That's the radiator.
You don't want to screw up the winch like that.
We could sell these on the internet. We keep some of our money back.
Hey, tires are here.
Yeah.
Look at them.
So we ran the same exact tire on one rim that's this skinny, and then one rim that's this big.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, this is the front wheel.
Yes.
That's gonna be sweet looking. The big question is though, is that back tire gonna fit? If this fits without rubbing, that's a pretty big deal. If it doesn't fit, we might have to start grinding into the frame.
Oh boy.
That's not even.
It's not even close.
How?
Okay, let me see here.
Measure this. Maybe there's more room in here. No.
No. Oh boy. Does it make it better? Doesn't make it worse.
Do we have that much space?
So far we do. So if we can space it out about that.
So we clearly miscalculated how big the new tire was and decided that the only smart, responsible, and logical solution was to cut large pieces out of the swing arm off. So I started doing it until Craig begged me to let him try. And it worked out because I had a thing to do anyway, which is away from the tiny aluminum flakes that were trying to live in my eyeball.
I don't know what's getting hotter, me or the saw.
When we were wrapping that up, I went back to solve our other problem. I think I fixed the radiator. So the way a radiator works is you have passage here, passages here, and these little fins just kind of help cool it off, but they don't actually go through the fins, I don't think. So as long as I cut out the bad stuff, I closed off these channels with JB Weld. Yeah, we lost 30% of its cooling capacity, but if it holds, that's better than just like having no fluid. So let's put some water in here and let's see if it works. I'm really hoping it works, because if it doesn't work, we got to figure out something else. It works here. It's not working there. All right, we need a new plan. So we went to the auto parts store and they didn't have anything for cars because cars use a bigger inlet and outlet. These are little tiny ones. These are motorcycle ones. So maybe we can go to a motorcycle dealership and see if they have any sitting around. Hey, Craig, you think Honda has any radiators floating around here?
It's going to be a tough one. They might. Don't we have anything here we can use?
I mean, I looked at the one on that GSXR Rex bike. It's not there. It's not on it.
Well, what about in the tub of parts?
I don't know how to tub parts.
Oh yeah, he gave us a whole tub of stuff with it too.
Where's that at?
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna find it though.
Maybe we have one. If we can get one, motorcycle radiators are kind of curved, and that might kind of work out. It kind of curves right here. We put these suckers on there. Pop, pop, pop.
Really flow with the lines.
Yeah, and then mount the fan on it. Then we got to extend this fan wire to get up there, but that's okay. Maybe we don't even need a fan. I don't know.
Nah.
All right, where's this tote? This is the engine out of the Orange County chopper. We kind of messed it up, but I think I want to rebuild it someday. This is actually an engine that Redbeard Garage made for us, a 420. It's pushing out way too much horsepower, but we put it in the Harbor Freight bike, and then we never did anything with it. So maybe that'll come back someday.
Hey, look what I found.
You found it? Hey, it's got a fan on it too.
Perfect.
That could work.
This is all coming together.
Oh man, it's like you can take all the aluminum out of your hood and you can make a can with it.
You should see all the aluminum I inhaled. Oh, there it is.
Craig's Alumaman.
All right, ship shape. There it goes.
All right, so after a lot of grinding and cutting and grinding and a little bit of crying, I told Craig, I'm like, Craig, there's no crying in off-roading. But check it out. Well, we still have a problem. This back tire still doesn't really want to move, but we think that once the weight of the bike comes down, it's going to move the shock from it, and then it might get better, which makes it, I don't know, it's not going to work out very well when it jumps. We're going to see if the thing works driving with these tires on, and then we have a whole lot more stuff to do. So let's try that. What do we do? So with time and patience running out, me and the team worked tirelessly into the night, and what came to us as a wrecked, fastest geriatric mobility chair turned into something truly amazing. All right, so it didn't actually turn out the way I was thinking it was gonna turn out. There's no spikes, there's no horns. We really ran out of time for the snorkel on the back, but I'm pretty pumped with how it turned out. I mean, this GSXR radiator, it looks like it belongs there. It looks like it's factory. I'm pretty pumped. So the big question is it gonna be able to do the off-road stuff that we're hoping it's gonna do? And we're gonna find out right now. I'm gonna be doing a lot of challenges against Craig on his dirt bike over there. But before we start that, there's one thing I gotta do, and I think we all know what that is. And all this drifting reminds me of one of my favorite Bible verses. Psalm 23:4, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So we set off to see if this monstrosity that we created is good enough to be called an off-road vehicle. And if you're wondering, the answer is no. We did, in fact, forget to put a skid plate on the bottom. So the chances of us hitting a large rock and busting open the oil pan and ruining this whole thing is 99%. I think it might be safe to say that we're taking this Can-Am, a Can-Am Ryker, where no Can-Am has ever gone before. Does anyone else look at the front end of this thing and also think that, yes, that looks exactly like a duck? Kind of like the Darkwing Duck type of mobile. So this is probably a good time to tell you about my two biggest concerns. One, that me and the machine roll over and it crushes me, which is pretty common for people who ride quads and things like that. And two, that I get bumped off and land on the very aggressive back tire that is exposed and behind me.
Well, that's a heck of a predicament. Oh, he's got it. Look at that.
When I do that, I have no brake.
More speed you need.
So we kept on going into the wilderness to see how far we could push this little Ryker through mud and water and big old rocks. Good job, Craig. Woo! Craig, what did you go through here? Oh, he went on the rocks. I might back up. I'll go that way. Hold on, I'm gonna cramp. Nope, not stuck yet. Let me get that winch. Everyone needs a little bit of help sometime.
That's right, donkey. Just trying to do this without getting all my fingers muddy.
He's trying to do it without getting his fingers muddy. Of course.
Of course.
That's all I needed.
That's it. Ben, back up, just drag him out. There you go.
Alright, that's all. I think I might be able to get out of that. Well, keep on. Let me turn a little bit.
Look at this, it's just cleaning off the mud. It's like a tire scraper.
Wow.
Hey, your fan turned on.
Yeah, it's blowing out. It's blowing the wrong way. It's blowing the Craig's way. I can't make it. You may have noticed that in order for us to fit this large tire on the back, that we had to cut out the fender. It's been said that anytime you remove a fence, you have to ask why it was put there in the first place. We should have done that. And in a minute, you're gonna see why I wish we had a fender on this thing. We got some mud bogs here, Craig. How deep do you think those are? Uh-oh, that's a little deeper than what I want to go. I should have known better.
It's the best.
It's like someone throwing pudding on me.
Where's that fender you wanted to put on? It's just like dumping down the back of the shirt. Oh, you're moving! You're moving! I'm getting out of here.
I'm doing it! Yeah!
Yeah! Hey.
Watch this, Craig.
I'm watching. Don't you worry.
Off-road champion of the world! This Can-Am seems to be doing better than I actually expected, so I decided to see how well it would do at its first hill climb. And it wasn't even that impressive of a hill climb, but let's just see how it does. All right, now it's up to me. Up. I got this. I don't got this. Maybe if I pick another line. Nah. All right, Dan, I'm not gonna try it again.
No?
Nah. It's not my type of terrain. Let's go find some other stuff. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Think I can make that, Craig? My thing does not like rocks. The best way for me to describe this is this must be what it feels like to get gallons of pudding just flung on your back at a fairly high velocity. Nailed it, no problem. Drift out, execute.
Nice.
Yeah, very well for the win. All right, so you can tell it wasn't that good at hill climbing. Mud bogging was okay until it wasn't, and it really couldn't keep up with that dirt bike. But it was a lot of fun, and I was actually pretty impressed. So we're gonna end it there. We'll see you guys next time. Check this next video right here.